It is Tuesday, the 31st day of May 2022. Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. Minister Kasaija apologizes for passing 10.6 billion shillings supplementary budget in error. Pilgrims from Greater Masaka take the trek to martyrdom. Uganda's inflation rate raises to 6.3% in May from 4.9% in April. And in sports, final squad for Sekafa Women Challenge Cup named. Hello there and welcome once again. We're coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, has admitted illegalities in the initiation of the 10.6 billion supplementary budget for Uganda Land Commission that was meant to clear off some land claimants in financial year 2020-2021. Kasaija also admitted for erroneously approving the budget without following procedures in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act 2015. We have more in this story.
Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development Matia Kasaija has appeared before the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises (COSASE) that is investigating the Auditor General's report for financial year 2020-2021. He admitted for having erroneously approved a supplementary budget of shillings 10.6 billion without following the right procedures.
Yes, I am overall responsible, and I'm not denying that one, absolutely. But if the officers below me don't do their job, they should also be held accountable.
In his statement, Kasaija had initially told the committee that the supplementary was legal and binding and that it went through all the established government procedures in accordance with the law before it was approved. However, the committee interrogated him on the legal procedures of initiating a supplementary, and instead the minister apologized and accepted that there were some irregularities in the process.
So, Honorable Minister, how do we reconcile these issues? Because you clearly know the procedure where supplementaries should be initiated from, but then you went ahead and signed, you went ahead and wrote to the Speaker and said, let's push through this supplementary. The money came, and then you released the money when you knew the right procedures were not followed.
My recommendation would be that whoever did this illegality should refund the money. So in your opinion, on the microphone, can you help us who should refund this money as a recommendation?
Preliminary investigations show that the right procedures were floated while processing the supplementary, which was allotted to benefit 6 land claimants, some of whom were allegedly ghost beneficiaries. According to the Auditor General's report, the 6 land claimants who benefited from the 10.6 billion supplementary are Kasiya Rabukurukuru, who got 6.4 billion, Stephen Peter Nagenda 1 billion, Julius Busora 1.4 billion, Natalie Namoli got 1.6 billion, Yisaka Rakana 125 million, and Geoffrey Mugisha, who got 1.4 billion.
Why would you selectively prefer to process a supplementary budget for these few individuals and this particular case, when it is within your documentation that there are so many other claims?
Kasaija also faulted his technical staff for misguiding him into approving a supplementary which was not initiated by the end user. He even asked the committee to summon the then Secretary to the Treasury, Keith Muhakanizi, and some other technical staff to explain the illegalities.
To get to the bottom of this matter, I think the permanent secretary then, he's still around, you should summon him. You should summon the accountant, because the accountant is the one who eventually sees everything through before money is released.
Legislators on the committee blamed the minister for not doing due diligence before approving the supplementary budget.
Why is it, Honorable Minister, that you did not do your due diligence First, be sure who is initiating. We are being told about a presidential directive. Where is it? Can I look at it?
You can't do due diligence, and we do due diligence.
Shamim Naiga, UBC News.
Minister of State for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku-Kaduchu, has said that government will conduct a fresh survey to ascertain sub-counties without government seed schools. She was commissioning new structures at Chigando Seed Secondary School in Mubende District. Bernard Yiga reports.
In the financial year 2018-2019, government earmarked 259 sub-counties where seed schools were to be constructed under the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Gift Program. So far, 117 schools have been completed and commissioned, including Kigando Seed Secondary School in Mubende District, commissioned by the Minister of State for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku-Kaduchu.
On behalf of Government of Uganda and on behalf of the First Lady, the Minister of Education and Sports, I take this singular opportunity to commission this secondary school to enable our children to study and get quality education. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Government targets to construct 300 seed schools. More 115 schools will be constructed in Phase 2 and more 27 schools in Phase 3. She says a new survey will be conducted to ensure more sub-counties are covered.
Probably without secondary schools, then we plan gradually in a phased manner to start again the construction process. Because the first phase were done when the new administrative units were not in place. And now that the new administrative unit, we have to do another survey to come up with another statistic so that we can construct further schools.
Therefore, parents must take a shared responsibility to ensure children attend school.
The school has been constructed for our children. Our role as parents is to ensure we enroll the children to school. Our role as parents is to ensure we dress our children smartly, they come to school. Our role as parents is to feed our children, to ensure that our children come to learn not on empty stomach. That is our cardinal responsibility as parents.
In a mother advice with a girl child, the minister encouraged them to complete the school cycle.
I know you know about sex. It is not time for you. You are not ready. You need to abstain. God will give you the right time to get married when you are ready and mature. So daughters, please, it is not time for you to get married, not time for you to sneak outside with the sugar daddy, sugar mummies. Please focus on your education, achieve your dream. You can make a difference and become like me and put on my shoes tomorrow.
Chigando Seed Secondary School started in 1999 on communal basis and is among the 5 seed schools allocated to Mubende District. Currently, the school has an enrollment of 578 students with 285 girls. The Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Gift Program is meant to increase capitation grants to schools and provide resources under the wage budget to recruit staff in understaffed districts. Bernard Yiga, UBC News.
Thanks, Bernard, for that report there. Now, Ministry of Education and Sports will launch the Education Plus initiative targeting to maintain girls in school and reduce HIV infection. The Director, Minister of Education, Ismail Mulindwa, affirms that the initiative will focus on districts that registered high levels of pregnancy during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The 5-year Education Plus initiative will focus on reducing HIV infection among girls by keeping them in school.
The initiative will, in the first 5 years, target adolescent girls and young women in regions and districts that registered the highest numbers of teenage pregnancies in 2021.
The ministry has a set of strategies to address early pregnancies and sexual abuses and to encourage the affected girls to return to
Now, State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Sebigwa-Nabosa, has said the personal data privacy portal will pave way for implementing protection of personal data for all Ugandans. She was launching the personal data privacy portal at the Media Center here in Kampala. The Minister of ICT and National Guidance, National Information Technology Authority, and the United Nations Capital Development Fund are key partners.
The Personal Data Protection Office, in partnership with UNSDF and NITA Uganda, in ensuring data privacy and protection, have launched a portal to push inclusivity in the digital transformation to ease access to information through their internet website, SMS and USSD for those who cannot access the internet. The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance briefed the media on the provisions Government of Uganda pave for the PDPO establishment and regulations.
The Government of Uganda enacted the Data Protection and Privacy Act 2019, which came into force on 3rd May 2019.
The Permanent Secretary for ICT, Dr. Amina Zawede, emphasized the need to create, build, and hold trust in the systems and open up opportunities to the business sector.
Call upon all agencies, MDAs, institutions in the country. It does not apply only to government, but all institutions and all citizens to register with this portal, because at the end of the day, as we engage in different stakeholder partnerships with development partners, with the private sector, we need to create that assurance that people's data is secure and people's privacy is adhered to.
The Executive Director, NITA Uganda, Dr. Hatwib Mogasa, there are many transactions being carried online. NITA, in this cause, will control risks and mitigations through their UG Pass facility that is used to increase the speed in the access of information in just a single click of a button.
This office is going to ensure that the risks are controlled, there are measures, they are mitigated, and they are prevented.
Uganda is the first in the region to embrace a digital system in terms of personal data protection at the launch of a 2-month awareness campaign to assist both the private and public sectors on privacy. With the theme, Your Privacy Matters, Minister for ICT and National Guidance launched the Personal Data Protection and Privacy Portal.
I take this honor to officially launch the Personal Data Protection Portal. Thank you.
Jane Nyiramcha, Owori Ian, UBC News.
Now, for every 10 people walking along major roads and highways, at least 7 are pilgrims. They are heading to Namugongo to celebrate this year's 3rd June Martyrs Day. Now, the group in the following story comprises of pilgrims from Masaka, Chotera, Sembabule and Kalungu districts heading to Namugongo.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has launched the 5-year strategic plan, which will run
They all started the journey at 0 mileage. They have covered tens of kilometers within just days. The speed definitely tells how determined they are.
I'm going to speak to my God so that I can, in future, be able to pay school fees for my children.
We are heading to Namugongo. We had just set off from Mitala Maria, hoping to refresh from Katende.
From the districts of Kalungu, Sembabule, Masaka and Chotera, young and old, all are making a pilgrimage to Namugongo, a site where 22 Catholic and 23 Protestant pages were killed on 3rd June 1986 by the chief executioner Mukajanga at the orders of Kabaka Mwanga Basamulekere II.
Ntumira abantu b'ebisanje bonna abanyendo ab'omu katale nti nze maama mmole bakkirize Yezu amala ate okukola okwabulina kusikwe kugaggawala amalivu bwe nnina.
The determination and hold is from my good Lord, and I seek to pray for my mother to continue being alive.
Rosaries down their necks and hands as they pray. But what about their faces?
The journey has had some challenges, but because of our rich faith, we will endure every pain to make it.
I'm fighting for the blessings of the works of my mother's hands, and even for my baby, so that I get to know his real father and heritage.
To others, this is a thank you journey.
I'm returning to Namugongo to say thank you, Lord. I last time prayed through the martyrs to help me out with my child who had been abandoned by his father. Indeed, I have managed to educate him up to university, and now he is employed.
The team spent the Monday night at Katende Parish in Wakiso district with hope to reach Namugongo Martyrs shrines this Tuesday to celebrate Friday, June 3rd, Martyrs Day. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Now, as we draw near towards the 3rd of June, Martyrs Day, UBC News is profiling all the martyrs that lost their lives for the refusal to renounce Christianity. Today, we delve into the life and martyrdom of Saints Andrea Kagwa and Matthias Mulumba Kalemba. Take a watch.
The life and martyrdom of Saint Andrea Kagwa. Andrew is the patron of teachers, catechists and families. He was a Munyoro by tribe and practiced the Catholic virtue of chastity very well. He married a Muganda woman called Batude Nakaziwe, daughter of Chiza. Kagwa was a chief of high rank, also known as Mugowa, which means the king's bandmaster general. He had enough property to pay the dowry for any number of wives he wanted in addition to Nakaziwe. But because of his faithfulness to God and his wife, he did not. Kagwa had a big and decent house that Nakaziwe endeavored to keep tidy. She scrupulously kept all their property functioning and in good order. On Saturday, 14th November 1885, a day before the martyrdom of the Christian leader and Kagwa's greatest friend, Joseph Mukasa Balikudembe, they got a daughter. Kagwa's wife and the baby were baptized on the same day on November 1885 at Nalukolongo. The new name that was given in addition to Nakaziwe was Claire, and the baby was baptized Mary. The acts of fraternal charity and others were practiced in Kagwa's family, and during the time when missionaries were away in Tanzania, his home was turned into a chapel. Andrew Kagwa had very strong faith. Him and his friend Balikudembe were frequenters at the parish, and the missionaries had much confidence in them. But the Arabs, through some mission boys, managed to steal a lot of property from the parish secretly. The missionaries jumped to a conclusion that it was no other than Andrew and Joseph Mukasa. On learning this, they devoted themselves to prayer and put themselves into God's providence. Some of their friends advised them to abandon the religion of the white men. If it was a religion of the white man, we should have abandoned it by now, they replied. But it is the religion of God. The white man just brought this religion of God to us, so we cannot therefore abandon God, they continued. Andrew died a martyr at the age of 30 on Wednesday, May 26, 1886. His hands were cut off, as ordered by the Chancellor, and his body was chopped into pieces at Munyonyo. the life and martyrdom of Saint Matthias Mulumba Kalemba. He is the patron saint of husbands. Matthias was a Musoga from Bunya. He was captured by a Muganda warrior Magato, who treated him as his own child. He went further to give him the name of his clan, the edible rat, also known as Musu. Because he was so faithful and promoted justice, Mulumba was soon promoted to various posts, and his highest post was to be the assistant county chief of Bulemezi in Singo. He lived in a place called Butega and carried out his work at Chiinda, just near where the present cathedral of Chiinda, Mitiana, stands right now. He had several wives, but due to the teaching of Catholicism, he decided to remain with one. He remained with Chikuwambaza, or Chikuwa, as his only one legal wife. He died a slow death in Kampala City, where the old Kampala Catholic Church, St. Matia Mulumba Church, now stands, on the 27th to 30th of May 1886. His limbs were cut off first, strips of flesh cut off from his back, and stayed in that state without any complaint for 3 days, praying for his country and executioners. The pieces of his flesh were thrown on a burning fire prepared in front of him. He was 50 years by the time he was killed.
And Wadulo Mark Arnold will be profiling more of our matters as we even draw closer to the D-Day, and that is 3rd June this year as we celebrate our martyrs. Now, Acting Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister Wilson Muruli Mukasa wants the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to give attention to corruption cases. This was during the launch of the 5th Strategic Plan of the Office of the Director Public Prosecutions that ensures adequate and efficient prosecution of cases and service delivery to Ugandans.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has launched the 5-year strategic plan, which will run up to 2025. The 15th strategic plan was launched by the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Wilson Muruli Mukasa. During the launch, Minister Muruli Mukasa asked for the DPP's focus towards handling corruption cases.
This plan is quite important indeed. If we were to look at it from the religious terms, I think we can call it our Bible. We hope also that there will be reduced cases of corruption. Yes, especially if the prosecution is fast, prompt, and the judgment given to corrupt people is deterred. We hope others who intend to go that way will take care and avoid taking that route.
Abatali Naitwe, one of the brains behind the strategic plan, says the plan will run under the 5 objectives and is in line with the National Development Plan 3.
One is examine and manage criminal cases. This one covers almost everybody, so it has all prosecution-related issues within that. Also, we have singled out corruption as one intervention, together with the quality of criminal cases as well. In terms, the second objective is to recover proceeds of crime, where we are looking more specifically at proceeds of crime, cyber crime. Objective number 3, to maintain international cooperation in criminal matters. Here, basically, we are looking at all matters that relate to international cooperation, mutual legal assistance.
Although a lot has been achieved in the previous strategic plan, understaffing and limited resources affected the DPP's office.
We pledge to deliver on our mandate, which is actually to handle all criminal cases in the country and to handle them with fairness, and at the end of the day that every Ugandan, because a prosecutor is a minister of justice, so we want to pledge to the people that we are going to be more sensitive, you know, as we handle these cases at the end of the day.
Lady Justice Jane Francis Sabodo, the head of the Director of Public Prosecution, disclosed that the DPP's office is set to handle terrorism cases and the patent issue of witness protection program.
You are well aware we don't have a law as yet, but we have guidelines in place to be able for us to protect our witnesses. because witnesses, they make the case. Without witnesses, we don't have a case. So we have put guidelines in place. We also have a department that handles witness protection. They are actually ready. We have a number of cases where the prosecution is ready. Like the Mumbere case, we are ready to start the prosecution. The Jamil Mukula, we are ready to start prosecution. But because of the limited numbers in the judiciary, the funding.
The DPP's office, Strategic Plan 5, is on the theme, streamlined, efficient and effective prosecution for sustainable socio-economic transformation. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Thank you.
Uganda's inflation rate has shot to 6.3% in the month of May 2022 compared to 4.9% in April. Uganda Bureau of Statistics attributes the significant rise to the increase in prices of food, non-alcoholic beverages and transport. Now, as the price of essential commodities soars and the public is cautioned against extravagancy, Dennis Sikoa reports.
Uganda's inflation is rising, driven by external and internal factors. According to statistics, the monthly headline inflation for the month of May increased by 1.5% compared to 1.4% rise recorded in the month of April 2022. This trend is largely driven by the increase in food and fuel prices.
In May 2021, just food inflation on an annual basis. Currently, as we talk, just food, the annual inflation is registered at 11.7. You see the difference? We were in negatives, the inflation that we had. That means we had even prices saved for the prices, either we had the plenty delivery where we need it, and the prices were not so high. But currently, food alone, the inflation has gone from the minus to the positive, and a very high positive of 11.7. Food on annual basis.
The inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index in the last month of May 2022 increased to 6.3%, up from 4.9% registered in April 2022.
Policy will come up, and since we've released the figure, they are going to use now this figure to be able to give the right policies in the right direction. But of course, for the economy, the prices are high and something has to be done. They have to look into a number of measures that they must implement now.
Increases in prices of commodities ultimately means that consumers have to dig deeper into their pockets in order to cater for their needs. With no solution in sight for the runaway inflation, the statisticians can only make an appeal to the public regarding their spending.
When you see prices are going up, you start spending sparingly, because please don't spend on what you don't need. You should spend on necessities. So change your kind of spending to the basics that you need, not luxuries.
However, within the same period, there were decreases in the prices of commodities under restaurants and accommodation services, education services, and ICT.
If you have gone shopping in the recent days, maybe in an open-air market or a supermarket, you must have realized something, that you are actually spending more for less. As per the Uganda Bureau of Statistics projections, the situation might actually get worse before it gets better. Dennis Igor for UBC News in Kampala.
My waka, now come and see for yourself. See my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jambola be waka, look at you waka. See my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Water gives life. Water is life. But not all water is created equal. Refresh yourself with the new quality Nirvana packaged drinking water and fuel you and your passion to go further in life.
Visit a shop near you and grab a 250 ml at 500 shillings, 500 ml at 1,000 shillings, 1.5 liters at 2,000 shillings, or the 20-liter jumbo bottle at 19,000 shillings. Nirvana is a product of Crown Beverages Limited, the makers of Pepsi products.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Luweero. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasaja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Luweero. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchwanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAID, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break, and this is the second edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. Moving on, Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Winston David Agaba, has called upon staff to support implementation of the parish development model through all UBC channels. He was closing the first batch of parish development model training for UBC staff at Nakawa ICT Hub.
The Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation UBC, Mr. Agaba Winston, has urged all UBC staff to disseminate information on the parish development model after a training.
They need to appreciate before they can then relay the success stories, the challenges, and the best alternatives in tweaking whatever is not working right to achieve the ultimate goal of making sure that the recipients of these interventions.
Mr. Agaba made these remarks during parish development model training for the UBC staff held at Nakawa ICT Hub. UBC's positive role is to increase the media engagements, develop public awareness as a national broadcaster.
Put whatever resources at hand into manageable, meaningful, business-oriented investments that have a return on investment, because this is not money that is a donation. It's seed capital that everyone is going to access, not everyone, but those that are eligible to access it. And it will be a multiplier effect in that once it is returned, then it's a revolving fund for others also to use the same.
The parish model is the latest government approach aimed at tackling poverty starting at the parish level. UBC will promote the parish model to disseminate information about the program.
There is a difference between a team and a group. When you see people combined, you think that's a team. Do they have a common goal?
As we get into the parish model, publicizing it, can we think about special reports?
We just need to strengthen what we are doing. We are doing good work. We need to consult each other. We need to work together. We need to appreciate ourselves. and most importantly, love your work.
The facilitators includes Finance and Administration Manager Dr. Kagwa Peter, Assistant Human Resource Manager Felista Bakendaki, and the Corporate Secretary Kosea Ranga emphasized on teamwork, cooperate, and securing UBC properties. The parish development model was initiated and adopted as the key administrative unit best for the attainment of the development goals at the grassroots level. Motesa Sida Haruna, UBC News.
From Kampala, let's go to Luweero now, where Luweero district residents have benefited from a two-day cooperative coaching and orientation workshop on the parish development model. It was at Luweero Diocese Guest House and funded by National Associations of Women Organizations in Uganda. We have more in this story.
After realizing that many Ugandans aren't fully informed about how the parish development model operates, government has increased the sensitization workshops. In Luweero, more than 200 locals have benefited from tutorship by the district leadership.
This time the parish development model is going to look at the parish as the epicenter for planning and development, so that socio-economic transformation can take place at that level.
This money will be used, it's a revolving fund. They'll be borrowing it at a lower rate to enable them buy farm inputs, to enable them package their products, to enable them transport their products to the market and others.
National Associations of Women Organizations in Uganda Program Officer Monica Nantume advises on how best the parish development model can benefit every Ugandan.
This is a space where the cooperatives or community members are also giving their expectations in this program. Yeah, it's a kind of two-way program. We are bringing together the community with the duty bearers for the community to share their expectations on how they would want the PDM program to be implemented in their satisfaction.
The parish development model targets uplifting Ugandans out of poverty, with each parish bagging 17 million shillings for the pilot stage starting this financial year.
To Ibanda District now, where Ibanda District local government has scoped this year's best performing local government and municipalities in the second edition of the Local Government Management of Service Delivery Performance Assessment. Office of the Prime Minister awarded the best 3 performing local governments and municipalities, including Isinjiro and Chira municipalities.
The Local Government Management of Service Delivery Performance Assessment Framework aims at improving service delivery at local government and municipality level. In this second edition, Ibanda District was the overall winner, followed by Isinjiro and Kira municipality. Isinjiro LC5 Chairman Tuhiro Aaron gives an insight on how they made it to the second position.
We have merged the second in the whole country. It is not a simple thing, but also in last year assessment, we also emerged the second in the whole country.
The State Minister for Public Service, Grace Mary Mugasa, said some districts and municipalities' performance was affected by late delivery of resources, but encouraged them to remain steadfast.
Sometimes it is about the delays of sending the wage in time.
Hard-rich areas like Bududa, you cannot go up the mountains when it has rained. When you go to Chigezi, it is the same. So the performance cannot be the same across government. Their recruitment level is still low. They don't have enough personnel. So you may find that some of the questions that want substantively appointed heads of department may not favor another one.
The best performers called upon poorly performing districts and political leaders to engage technical teams for a better record.
What they need to do is the political head to sit with the technical team so that they can be at par. They can move together as a team.
At the relationship between the politicians and the technical people, council sittings, do they sit in time? Are they able to sit all the council sittings? Does the executive sit all the executive sittings it's supposed to sit? The submission of reports, budgeting times and timelines, whether we are able to meet all of these.
Overall, the 2021 assessment results indicates an improvement in average performance of local governments from 36% to 44%. The above improvement was registered amidst COVID-19 pandemic and its related challenges, which in a way restrained some of the local government functions.
Dennis to go with that report there. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Engineer Erin Batebe Okello, has tipped all commissioners and human resource managers of different ministries on mindset change training as they prepare staff for retirement. The remark was contained in a speech read for her by the Undersecretary, Dr. Emmanuel Fred Mugumba. He disclosed this during a mindset change training at Kampidingisa National Farmers Leadership Center.
On the theme Mindset Change Towards Gratified and Creative Life After Retirement, commissioners and other staff from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development were tipped on how to prepare for their retirement.
But so if more people get involved and the people who have retired get involved in these activities, it will be very, very helpful. Like I said, it is important that our officers who are retiring don't just spend the money in any business venture they advise them. Their number, they need to study them and know where they want to spend that money. It is also not good to just go by any advice that they get. They need to study before they invest their retirement money.
It follows the launch of National Farmers Leadership Center by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in Kampidingisa. The principal of the center, John Bosco Okwaja, has requested government for financial support to train more farmers.
We have requested them that if possible, the 39% of the Ugandans that are still outside the money economy, the ones that are still practicing what we call subsistence farming, and that is the group we are really targeting, that those are the people who really need that mindset. So for those people to come here for training, they cannot afford. So we are always requesting that it would be the mandate of government to train Ugandans as far as mindset is concerned.
The principal called upon government to improve the infrastructures to ease the training and facilitation of trainees.
It's requested the PS of Ministry of Agriculture, the ministry, that if possible they could increase our budget, because most of the monies that we get from this institution are for operation, maintaining the institution, the cars, and also ensuring that where the trainees stay is good.
Justin Nakami, Tanaba Kenneth for UBC.
The chairperson of the Health Service Commission, Father Pius Okong, has appealed to government to allocate funds to the commission and construct its structure to reduce expenses on hiring during aptitude tests for midwives and enrolled nurses. This was during the opening of aptitude tests for nurses at Makerere University.
At least 387 nurses have done aptitude tests set by Health Service Commission to enable shortlist on a number of enrolled nurses and midwives. The chairperson of the Health Service Commission, Dr. Pius Okong, says these exams aim at shortlisting the number of midwives and nurses who applied for jobs.
97 midwives have turned up and they will sit for the aptitude test, which is ongoing now, so that we can fill 15 vacancies after oral interviews for Uganda prisons, 214 enrolled nurses. The best will undergo oral interviews to fill 13 vacancies.
Dr. Pius also hinted on expenses for hiring places where the aptitude tests are conducted.
We hire a venue, and that's why we're in Makerere, where they have several computer labs, and then our system links the system here, and then they sit for the exams online. But last night we realized quite late that our system could not link with the system here.
Deputy Chairperson of the Commission says they have encountered challenges that make resource to delay.
Recognize that we need our own house, our own building, so that we can house all what we need to accomplish our work
in that house. And we would have like the computer rooms with the cameras so that people cannot even fluke or do whatever. You are watching people, you are able to record and can do the work. You don't have to move the computers every day or remove the people. And all our system would be set in one system. But now I think when they tried to send it this way, it refused.
At least 77 midwives stand up for tests out of the 197 who applied.
We'll take yet another short break, but still to come on this program. And UCA signed Memorandum of Understanding to network cooperatives. Business booming at Namugongo as clock ticks to Martyrs Day.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
A good school doesn't tolerate violence against children.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Jennifer, Jukila, Wewagamba, I don't have waka. You bust the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jambola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Uganda has a budding film industry that will be celebrated at the Uganda Film Festival 2022. There'll be workshops, film screenings, and a world-class gala. Vote for your viewer's choice movie through the online voting platform that will be part of the drive as we use the creative sector as a solution to unemployment. The Uganda Film Festival is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Be alert! Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, with support from the International Labour Organization, invites you to tune in to UBC Television on Wednesday, 1st June 2022 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a talk show. The topic for discussion will be mitigating the impact of COVID-19, enhancing productive employment through the parish development model. The panelists will include Mr. Ismail Kalanda, the Principal Labour Officer, Inspections at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Okecho John CL, the Chairman General at Central Organization of Free Trade Unions, and Mr. Geoffrey Kabi, the Employment Relations Officer at the Federation of Uganda Employers. Remember to tune in on UBC TV at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, 1st June 2022.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's have a look now at business news. As Christians eagerly wait for Martyrs Day, the business community in Kampala and its suburbs has found its way to Namugongo, where the market for their commodities is expected. According to business owners in and around the shrines, the week will help them earn a living from their lucrative enterprises.
Traders at Namugongo dealing in foodstuff have decried the level of poverty, which has made it difficult for their food items to attract consumers.
Ninawo ka business kange kano ngabo mukalaba wano naze nakonsiike ku mberenge ne sirabako wagula mberenge. Ekituufu kiri nti olunaku luno abantu baavu nnyo kuba ndowooza olw'okuba badde mu COVID ebbanga ddene business zaafune ebizibu bingi, abaana okusoma, kati abantu tebalina ssente.
Kulaba juizi lwe lundeese wano naye sirina kye naafunye. Budde we naakamala wano olunaku lulamba sirina kye naafunye. Embeera si nnungi mu byenfuna.
Some traders are still optimistic that on 3rd June they will sell and reap from traders stationed outside the shrine.
Ensonga endeese wano nti kifo ky'abajulizi nkoze ebintu bibiri, nzize n'enkola ate kirala ni mukulamaga esebo. Nze ngaze nakatuuka ntuse lwaleero ssaawa 6:00 naye nga ntandise okufuna enjawulo, bakasoma bajja mpola mpola naye nga si be banje nnyo naye nga obudde obuddako basuubira okuweera ssebo.
With the Central Properties, we decided to come here to help people who are out there who doesn't have any information about land. So far people have learned about land, and I'm sure once they go back they are going to inform their communities. They are just waiting for these days to end, and then they are ready to come and grab their plots.
Martyrs Day, which is expected to boost businesses in and around Namugongo, comes at a time when business operators are still grappling with the effects of COVID-19. Joshua Kagoro, UBC News.
Now, conflicts between human and wildlife in and along Lake Mburo National Park are not about to end soon. Locals have decried torture and uncalled for arrests by the rangers once they are caught grazing the animals in the park. 40% of the animal population from this park graze within the communities and end up destroying their crops. However, Uganda Wildlife Authority is in process to compensate the affected persons, as we hear in this report.
The unresolved human-wildlife conflict along Lake Mburo National Park have continued to escalate, with locals and leaders calling for an immediate action. According to the locals, animals like zebras and antelopes continue to ravage on their crops, destroying them. Besides, these animals' continuation to compete for food supplements like salt given to domestic animals, a cost they claim has not been refunded.
Bigger population of the animals live outside the park. They live with the cattle keepers, and they know that these cattle keepers don't hunt them, don't kill them, so they are at peace. But that peaceful coexistence is destructive to the farmers because they consume whatever the farmers put out, what they prepare for their cattle.
Reports indicate that 40% of the animal population from Lake Mburo National Park graze within the communities as they search for open pasture spaces. But in the process, they bring ticks which eventually are passed on onto the people's herds, causing diseases but also reducing the milk production.
And even human beings are being attacked
by animals, wild animals that come from National Park. But in all that, these people are not compensated.
Whereas the locals want government to fence off this park, some say it will affect them since they graze and water their animals from the game reserve, though those who are caught from there are forced to pay 150,000 shillings as fines.
What the national park can actually do is to invest in constructing various tanks around the borders of the national park so that farmers, cattle farmers and all other people have got sufficient water for production. That will enable the park to be fenced.
While the locals decried torture, overcharging them and uncalled for arrests by the game rangers, State Minister for Tourism, Honorable Martin Mugara, while visiting the place, said that these are even lucky to graze in this park compared to other game parks. He, however, condemned the torture acts compelling the errant rangers to stop or risk dismissal.
I also don't think it's good. And of course, on behalf of my staff, I apologize.
In 2019, Parliament passed a Wildlife Act, which among others provides for compensation. The locals whose properties are being destroyed by the animals are yet to be compensated. However, Minister Mugara assured the locals that government will only compensate those who were caught up in the parks as government opened up the boundaries.
Kurebangu habaho some harmony. Omuntu yasisikara a compensating. Ko can't compensating ngogwe. Owa atunge kizibu yaherya apaka. Enyamisho yakwitira mpaka ebyo byawe.
Besides, government is also planning to fence off all the game parks in the country as one way of addressing human and wildlife conflict.
Now, in the midst of confusion in the guidelines issued by different stakeholders at ministerial level, there is lack of transport and office space for the newly recruited parish chiefs. Majority of districts in Acholi sub-region, however, have embraced a parish development model, although they have some challenges.
When we are training, last time they attended, they are not paid. The division and assisting. I don't know, I'm supposed to pay people? Are they supposed to eat? These are the things we want to avoid that name of corruption. But when they tell you that, the guidelines, what does it say? It doesn't tell, it didn't say that, it is just that do these activities. Are we supposed to use money? Because this is what made people to shine down. That finished long time. Our work plan was saying by second quarter we finish the what? The new activities. Awaiting the full scale.
We have a very big challenge of officer combination for the chiefs, for the parish chiefs. Right now, these people are struggling either where they rent, where their places of residence is the contact office, or where you don't have, because there are parishes where you cannot find anywhere to even rent. They stay with their mother sub-counties or with their sub-counties. So they have a chair and a table in the sub-county to do government work, meaning that wherever they are going, they are carrying their bags with all of their records.
We engaged the political leadership and the communities donated the land for parish headquarters, and that has been documented. So all our rural parishes, they already have land donated and documented. The transfer, the donation documents are duly signed and they are with us as a government.
If you had recruited an officer who is lazy, who has not taken up that I have to make an effort, I have to go from analog to digital, and an officer who does not take creativity to improve on his performance, we are going to have a challenge in terms of the mindset of these officers first. So to me, these parish chiefs, then their supervisors, the sub-county chiefs, even our heads of department, we need the mindset with them first before they translate it to the community.
The parish development model may appear economic, but it's also political. And please don't underestimate that. In any case, it could be more political than even economic. When it works, we are like this in 2026. And that is why we are so interested in it.
To come in our bulletin, Crested Cranes Final 23 named ahead of Women's Sekafa. And Mutambuze starts campaign to hone potential Olympians. And UMU ages Gulu University in Pepsi UFL. Sports news now, and Uganda Crested Cranes coach has named his final 23-player squad to play at the Sekafa Women's Challenge Cup that starts tomorrow at the FUFA Technical Center in Njeru. Here is our sports reporter, John Barnes. More with more.
The team is of 3 goalkeepers, 7 defenders, 5 midfielders and 8 forwards, including Juliet Nalukenge, Fazila Ikwaput, Margaret Kunihira and Sandra Nabweteme. Coach George Lutalo says the team is in good stead to use the Sekafa tournament as a launch pad for a successful Women Africa Cup of Nations that starts in July.
My team is in good shape and they are ready to compete and to become the champion. It is a good moment that we have no serious injuries. Everybody is set.
Defender Shadia Nancha will be assisted by Hasfana Suna as team captain, while others on the team are Daisy Nakaziro, Daphne Nyaenga and Juliet Adeke.
I call upon each and everyone to come and stand with us, because united we stand and we need you as you need us.
Florence Nakiwalaki is chairperson of the local organizing committee of the tournament that starts tomorrow with Group A ties.
Of the tournament tomorrow at 1 p.m. and that will be the first game between Burundi and Djibouti. Then we shall proceed on to Uganda and Rwanda at exactly 4 p.m. I welcome fans into the stadium. The stadium is open to fans and we encourage as many people as possible to come and watch our girls play, and we can promise fair game and for fair results for a fair game.
The 5 midfielders are Fiona Nabumba, Joan Nabide, Shiba Zalwango, Shamira Naluja and Aisha Nantongo. Other defenders on the team are Asia Nakibuka, Sumaya Komuntale, Lukia Namubiru, Margaret Namirimu, Samari Nakacho and Aisha Nantongo. The tournament is complete by Group B that has Tanzania, Zanzibar, South Sudan and Ethiopia.
To table tennis now, and Mandela Group of Companies has boosted the upcoming Mutaz Ginger Open Table Tennis Championship with trophies and playing equipment. The tournament, which is the first of its kind, is organized by Uganda's best ever male table tennis player, Paul Mutambuze.
All roads for table tennis players will this weekend lead to Ginger, where the Mutaz Ginger Open Table Tennis Championship is on at the Holy Cross Lakeview Primary School. It's organized by veteran table tennis player Paul Mutambuze, who, despite being proud as Uganda's only table tennis Olympian, wants to hone many other talents.
I played in the Olympics, and I'm sure I'm the first male Olympian in East Africa. I guess I'm still the only one, isn't it? Yes. And that can't continue like this. It has been like that for the last 27 years. No, we have to change that. We need more Olympians from around.
It's really important that the sport develops, starting with the young children. Your vision of starting in the schools. We're looking forward to a successful tournament in Musonga region, and we're looking forward also to the experience that you're bringing to the country through your interaction with the national team of Kenya, with the national team of Uganda, and also looking forward to the success story of the vision
Mandela Group of Companies has yet again proved its commitment towards sport, which to them is the reason Ugandans through exercise survived the COVID-19 pandemic.
I think this is something we've learned. Some people survived because of exercising and because of the sport. And now we're back here, fully open, and as Mandela Group, why not support sports?
The tournament will mostly feature underage competition with established names like Pavin Nangonzi, Jemima Nakawala, Shanita Namara, Amina Lukaya and Lydia Nantunga expected.
Thank you.
Among the boys, Uganda's top seeds Sam Mbabazi, Benjamin Achima and Philip Nyafokoli are expected, alongside the Kenyan cast led by the country's top player, Josiah Wandera.
I've really been working hard to make sure that I do my best and take the trophy. And beat Mutamuzi.
Others expected are Kenyans Brian Mutu and Audrey Aronda, while other Ugandans are Diof Miro and Jonathan Senyonga. John Burns Sentamo reporting.
And the Sentamo's story brings us to the end of this second and final bulletin of news tonight here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night and see you tomorrow.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, with support from the International Labour Organization, invites you to tune in to UBC Television on Wednesday, 1st June 2022 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a talk show. The topic for discussion will be mitigating the impact of COVID-19, enhancing productive employment through the parish development model. The panelists will include